Okay, here we go.
Well, this is ironic to say the least, if not incomprehensible. In 1976 and again in 1985, the National Party foolishly tried to stamp out culture. Well, they claim they didn't do that, but they tried to impose Afrikaans as the language of instruction, the medium of instruction in schools. Students took to the streets in 1976 in a famous uprising, and then 1985 once again. That one lasted for 9 months and nearly toppled the National Party. So what's going on here? They're amending the Education Act to force people to teach English as the medium of instruction, canceling out the culture of Xhosa and Tswana, Venda, Basotho, Afrikaners. This is abysmal. This country was nearly put into a bloodbath by the same sort of stupidity by the National Party. But here we are, the Party of Liberation, which is actually the party of oppression. They want cultural genocide and stamping out languages and culture by forcing people to learn English as the first language of instruction in schools. Now, you can say, well, wait a second, that's strange. You're an English speaker. Yes, I am. English is the language of business. English is the language of the internet, of aviation, of science. The list goes on and on, of commerce. True. But it's not the language of Xhosa. It's not the language of Venda. It's not the language of Swazi or Zulu or Afrikaners. And they have a right under the South African Constitution, until now, to be taught in their first language in primary school, secondary school. They can learn English as a second language to be competitive in the world. But this is stamping out minority culture and majority culture, quite frankly. That's the irony here. Listen to these idiots ululating, celebrating the imposition of a colonial language. They love to talk about colonialism and apartheid, but they forget the colonialism of the English in South Africa, of the British Empire. That's convenient, isn't it? It's ironic. This is a cavalcade, a parade of absolute fools. New World Order stooges who don't even get the impact of their stupidity. The National Party was too stupid to get it in 1976 and 1985, and it caused countless deaths and chaos and eventually contributed significantly to the demise of the apartheid state, fortunately. However, this is moronic in its highest order. Now, some people will take dispute with what I'm saying and say, well, listen, Chris, you don't get it. This isn't about, stamping out Afrikaans or stamping out Tswana in the schools. This is about giving kids a chance to go to schools they can't go to now because they can't speak those languages. The disruption in the education system, the disruption in outcomes that will occur over the next 5 to 10 years as a consequence of this idiotic amendment to the education bill will have lasting effects on South Africa for decades. A country that manages 0.4% GDP growth annually is already in the crapper, and this will ensure that they go further down the road. Yet they're celebrating it like a bunch of fools. Wow. People vote against their own best interest. 40% of the people who bother to show up, which is barely half the eligible population in South Africa, well, that's less than half the eligible, but barely half those who registered to vote. Those who bothered to rock up, 40% of them voted for this party of loons. You get what you deserve, South Africa. The Democratic Alliance, which is part of this government of national unity, for its part announced it's going to court against the bill. All right, well played. We'll see what happens. Listen to them ululating, celebrating the demise of African culture in South Africa. Idiots.